Welcome to another segment of Immigration. Today we're here to talk to Loretta, who is originally from Zimbabwe. So Loretta, tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm from Zimbabwe. I've been born and raised there, and in 2006 I moved to South Africa, but I went there to visit my sister, and I enjoyed living there. I started working there, and I ended up joining the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints there, and I've been there ever since. I've lived in South Africa for 7 years. I am the only member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in my family.
Okay.
And what else? I've been accepted to BYU Idaho, and I'm in my first semester, and it's been a good ride so far.
Yeah, so how long have you been here? This is your first semester. How many?
Yes, I've been here for about 8 weeks now.
Okay. And how has it been like so far?
It's been good for the most part, despite the weather. Obviously, I have to change to accommodate myself into the Rexburg weather, but overall it's been good. I'm not jet lagged anymore, and I'm starting to kind of transition into Rexburg way of life as opposed to when I was back home.
Right. So what, if I may ask, was one of the biggest cultural shocks for you since you've been here?
I think the biggest for me was having everyone here be a member of the church.
Okay.
And that's a good thing, I guess. But for me, it was a bit of a shock because back home, you have many opportunities to share the gospel with people because my colleagues at work were not members of the church. So here I feel like I'm not doing as much missionary work because everyone is a member. So everyone I speak to is like, oh, I'm a member of the church. And I'm like, oh, okay. So that's been a little bit of a culture shock because I'm so used to not having as many. But food has been a huge culture shock, actually. I still don't know what I'm eating. I still have to get used to that. But above all, it's been okay.
So if I may ask, one of the biggest questions that I ask everybody is, what do you wish you knew before you came to America?
For me, I think I wish I would have known that not everybody thinks the same. Africans, at least how I grew up, we are not afraid to speak our mind. Be it in a negative or a positive way, we're not afraid to communicate one with another. And since I've been here, I've been communicating, and I feel like people do not communicate as openly as what I'm used to. So when I raise my hand in class, people are a bit surprised at what I would say according to the topic of discussion, because people don't say certain things. So that's been something that I wish if I had understood, that actually just because we're in this big world and we're members of the church or not, it doesn't mean that we all can think the same. People are different, cultures are different. So I've had to kind of adjust my culture to everyone else's. So I guess reading up on different societies can be an advantage. Part of my struggles has been trying to see where I fit into the story of being in America, being at a church university, being different. Because I remember before I left to come here, I had an interview with my state president, and he wanted to he wanted to prepare me for what lies ahead. And one of the things he mentioned that I've stuck with is you're not just going there to get an education. You're also going there to share your story and who you are as an individual, and you have something to contribute, and you need to figure out what it is that you have to do there. What is your ultimate purpose besides getting good grades and getting a degree? And so since I came here, I've been trying to sort of find what my purpose is, and see how my story fits into the BYU Idaho story.
Right.
And it hasn't been easy so far, but I think I'll find my fit in the puzzle.
And so when you talk about your story, what do you mean by that? What is your story?
Well, my story is a Black young lady seeking to have an education in a foreign land, away from family or anything that's close to them, anything familiar, and trying to help the world understand where I'm coming from.
Right.
My societal issues, my, racial struggles, trying to kind of bring awareness to people, because I've seen that a lot of people don't even understand that Africa is a continent.
Right.
So things like that, I feel like that I can only be of help. Not to give everyone the bigger picture, but to try and get them to understand a little bit of the world I come from.
Right. I like that. So how has your struggles or your immigration into America influenced who you are thus far?
Well, for one thing, I've noticed that I have an opinion to share with everyone. I cannot keep quiet about important issues.
Right.
And first of all, I was surprised that I even got the visa to come here, because it's so difficult to get one. So I felt like that was the universe or Heavenly Father's way of saying, you can go in and you can make a difference. And so in my classes, when people say, oh, everyone is starving in Africa, I go, actually, not everyone is starving in Africa. Other people are, but it's not everyone. Right. We do have the internet, we do read newspapers, we do watch CNN. So simple things like that, I've been able to tell people, and I've been surprised because not everyone actually knew all of those things. So I think that's why it's important to have diversity at any university, because those people like me who are immigrants can be able to shed light on everyone.
Right. I like that a lot. So a lot of people say that the grass is greener on the other side. Is the grass greener on the other side?
After being here, I think the grass is not greener on the other side. I think the grass is greener wherever you choose to be. And I think that grass has to be cultivated by you to make it greener, because you can't expect that someone else will cultivate for you to make it greener so that when Loretta comes, everything is fine. No, I believe that even when I was in South Africa, the grass wasn't always as green, but I had to make sure that I plucked out the weeds and fixed everything so that it is greener for the most part when I'm there. So even when I've been here, I've noticed that it's not as green as I used to think it would be, but I can make it as green as I go.
Want it to be. Okay. So with that being said, what does the American dream mean to you?
At first it was get an education and sit at the back of a classroom and just speak when you're spoken to and just go home and make things happen. But I've realized that my American dream would be help the rest of the world know a little bit of who I am, make a difference in society, and that every opinion or every thought that I have does matter and I mustn't suppress it.
Right.
And that even if I can flourish here in America, I have a lot more to contribute back home. Okay. So even though I have work here to do, I feel like I have more work to do back home. So I guess it's the American dream to work towards giving back at home.
So you're home. So you're planning on going back home after?
Oh yes, definitely.
That's good. That's really good. So my last question for you is, what is one piece of advice, or even if you have multiple, that you would give to those planning on coming to America?
Since I got here, I've had to work for everything, and I've had to accept that not everyone works at the same pace as you. So I think understanding the principle of work, because living in South Africa for 7 years, I've understood that I don't get the benefits that every South African gets. There's some things that I, as a Zimbabwean, have to work hard to get. And so when you come to America, you can't expect handouts. You can't expect America to roll out the red carpet for you. You have to be willing to help America and build wherever you can in any sphere of influence you have. And through that, then you can fully feel like you're happy or you're fulfilling whatever goal you have. You can't be a passenger because it's lovely being here and it's a wonderful country, but at the same time they need our help as well. And we can't just loaf around. So I think understanding that you're going to work and you're going to make a difference and you have to, at least if you can, try and change the world around you.
Thank you so much, Loretta. This has been wonderful.